My name is Khairul. I live in a small town with my wife Hannah. I work with the local Islamic Organization to help with the burial process of deceased Muslims. I would clean the deceased body according to the religious requirements of Islam. After that, I would seal them in their designated bag before taking them for burial. It's difficult work, but I make sure the bodies of those who have passed away were treated with respect. In January 2020, Malaysia recorded its first confirmed local COVID-19 case. It made my heart sink. Within days, the number of cases soared. Malaysia had been caught by the pandemic. After that, my team's services were in high demand. My colleagues and I would go to several hospitals a day, working directly with the mortuary departments. Each job was long and arduous. When handling the bodies of deceased COVID-19 patients, we were required to follow strict SOPs. At the morgue, I had to wear a full set of PPE from the beginning until the end of the burial. My team and I would often work until it was well past midnight. Sometimes, I would not even be able to go home after work. That often left Hannah at home alone. Although she works at the local primary school, she had to teach her pupils online because of the pandemic. Not only that, she also had to write reports and constantly check in with her pupils. Her workload had doubled. One morning, Hannah told me she heard the depressingly loud siren of an ambulance. Outside, a scene she had been seeing only on social media was now unfolding right before her eyes. That's when Hannah knew her neighbors must have gotten COVID-19. It was only after the siren had faded into the distance that she realized Daniel, her neighbor's son, and one of her students had been left to self-quarantine at home all alone. Hannah and I worried about Daniel. After his self-quarantine ended, we invited him to stay with us while his parents were in the hospital. Knowing Daniel would miss his mother, Hannah arranged for Daniel to speak with his parents via video call. Sadly, Daniel's parents got more and more sick as the days went by. I felt horrible for Daniel. The only advice I could give him was to pray for his parents. The young boy prayed earnestly 5 times a day, every day. I prayed that things would get better. One morning, when I was working, I noticed a pair of familiar faces. It was Daniel's parents. My heart sank. But I knew I couldn't stop. I knew I had to do my duty. My team finished preparing the bodies and took them to the burial site. But I kept asking myself, how am I going to tell Daniel? When we told Daniel, he was shocked. When I went to see Daniel, I realized he had fallen asleep crying. The next day, Daniel refused to leave his room. I tried to comfort him and to show him that our lives must go on. But my words fell on deaf ears. The once bright and talkative boy became quiet and reserved. Nothing we said could make him smile, let alone laugh. Seeing him like that broke my heart. I needed to figure out how to help him through this. I took Daniel to my favorite fishing spot and taught him all the tricks I knew for catching the best fish. Daniel was very reluctant at first. The lake was strangely quiet, almost as if the fishes were hiding. But then, Daniel felt a sudden tug on his fishing line. The fish was huge. Daniel shouted in joy. It was the first time I heard his voice in weeks. I was overjoyed. I knew this was the start of Daniel opening his heart again. Hannah and I decided to adopt Daniel into our family. I realized I had a lot of love for Daniel. Even though we were not related by blood, meeting him felt like fate.